Thank you so much for signing up for this webinar. I am really excited to get into it with you today. Instagram has been super instrumental in the growth of my business, and I really hope that some of the tips and tricks that I've learned along the way can help you. So let's get into it. Okay, let's get into Enamel Pins 101, 5 steps to build your following fast. So hi, I'm Becky. I started my shop, The Pink Samurai, in 2006. I have been making pins since 2016, and I'm a total crazy cat lady. Okay, so before we start, I really want you to turn off your phone, close those 20 other tabs that I know are open, and get rid of any distractions. You can get out a notebook. I definitely recommend you take notes because there's a lot of good actionable stuff in this webinar. So I want you to ask yourself some questions. Have you ever wanted to grow your following on Instagram? Kind of a dumb question, right? Do you want to use Instagram to promote your business? I'm guessing that's a hard yes as well. So why haven't you started hitting Instagram hard yet? All right, so does this sound like you? You want to be able to grow your following without spending all day on your phone. You've tried lots of different Instagram marketing advice, but nothing has worked. This is a big one for me. And you wish you could just post something on Instagram and know that it's going to bring in more followers and sales. Okay, so what you will learn today is step 1, what to post when you don't have any pins or a limited number of them. Step 2 is how to take amazing photos with just your phone and free apps. Step 3 is how to write captions that really engage with your audience. Step 4 is hashtags and simple hacks to increase visibility. And step 5 is kind of a bonus. It's all about why email lists are a must. So before we dig in, I want to share my story with you really quickly so you know how I got here and how I learned all of this stuff. So 3 years ago, I was getting ready to come back to work after maternity leave. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I only had about 10 hours tops to work. It was all nap times and when my baby went to sleep. But I decided to open up my shop again and add enamel pins to the mix. I had just been doing buttons, prints, small illustrations, things like that. So maybe you can relate. I struggled with time management so much. I needed to maximize every single second, and I could not spend all day on Instagram promoting my business. I had a child attached to me at the time. So growing an organic following can be super hard. And not knowing what to post can be flipping frustrating. And not knowing if your post will lead to sales can be tough. That's kind of the biggest thing. Like you can see this photo was like my least performing photo of last year. So I finally started to figure out what really worked for me. This photo, however, last year was a winner, if you can tell. And when I did, I saw my follower count and sales steadily rise. I started to see which types of posts brought in actual sales, and seeing these results gave me so much peace of mind. Things were actually working and my shop was growing. And today I'm running a thriving business and still work from home part-time. So imagine knowing that you have a plan for Instagram that will save you time and grow your business. That's pretty great, right? Where do we start? Step 1, know what to post when you don't have a ton of products. You don't need a ton of inventory for a beautiful feed. So I want you to look at these photos here that I have. They are all of the exact same pin, so keep that in mind. So you want to keep your content varied, but your color palette consistent. So you can tell all of these are my photos. I use a lot of pinks and pastels in my branding, so when any of these photos pop up in someone's feed as they're scrolling, they will immediately be able to know that it's mine. You want to utilize different backgrounds for interest. So if you look in these examples, I'm holding a card up, I've got a pile of them, I've got them carded, I've got them on a fuzzy textured background, I've got glitter backgrounds. They're all different, but still follow my aesthetic. And you want to photograph your pins with pins by other makers and tag everyone to share the love. So this photo of mine on the vest, that has my pins plus other makers. When you do this, it's kind of a win-win-win because you have a beautiful photo for your feed and you're promoting your stuff. You are promoting other makers who then in turn might share that photo on their feed and their stories if it fits with their aesthetic. And you're showing your audience pins and new makers that you think they'll like. So it's win-win-win for everybody. So now that you know kind of what to do for your pins, what else can you post if you don't have a ton? So you want to share your space. People love peeking behind the scenes. Take photos of your desk when you're carding pins or share sketchbooks and inspiration. You can see in these photos, I share a ton of photos of my studio space, my own pin collection, a mess of pins on the desk that I've been photographing. You can see where I'm working on pins and carding them. All of these photos still evoke the same aesthetic, color palette, and general content that the photos from my actual pins do. And show your face. It is not 2017 anymore. So in 2017, when a lot of things were really blowing up, I feel like makers wanted to put logos as their avatars. They wanted to make it look like they were a bigger company. But now your followers want to see the maker behind the pins that they love. So sharing selfies, celebrating accomplishments, showing friends. Show pictures of you in your studio or out somewhere that inspires you. Things like that will help people be able to connect with you on a more human level, so they will understand you and your inspirations and your motivations as you put work out into the world. So they'll be just more excited to be a part of you and what you're making. Okay, step 2. Now that you know what photos you want to take and what you want your feed to look like, let's talk about taking amazing photos with your phone. So you don't need a DSLR to take amazing photos. All of the photos on my Instagram feed and website are just done with my iPhone 7. Even this photo of an iPhone X is done with my iPhone 7. So quick tips is be sure to find a space with good natural light. Find a window in your home that gets light coming in at a certain time of day and know when that is. And I set up a table right in front of my favorite window, and I like to use a piece of white foam core to bounce the light. This is another really awesome trick. So what I do is I have my window, and then I put the table in front, put the pin on the table, and then I use a piece of foam core on the other side of that pin. So any light that's coming in from the window is bounced off of that white foam core and back onto the pin. And this creates even lighting. You can move the foam core around to move the shine on your pin if you need to. It's really, really great. And it's way cheaper than a light box. All right, now this is probably my biggest tip and the thing that I holler about the most to business owners is batching saves time. So what I mean by batching is taking a ton of photos at once means you'll have a backlog of content. So I always like to take at least 5 different types of photos of each pin when I'm shooting. And so you can see examples in this photo. I have my fuzzy white or my fuzzy pink background, and you can see all of the different pins that I've taken pictures of. You can see my solid pink background and the pictures that I take on that. So I like to set up a background, take a bunch of pictures of one set of pins, move them, take a bunch of pictures of another set of pins, so I don't have to keep moving that background. It's not like every single day I have to, haul out the backgrounds and take a photo and then post it on Instagram. No, you take out your backgrounds once or twice a week and take all the photos you need all at once, and then you'll have them ready throughout the week and the month. And you can also edit everything at once, and that saves a ton of time too. So the editing apps I like to use are a Color Story. That's my go-to. A Color Story is awesome because you can select multiple photos that have the same kind of lighting, and then you can edit one of those photos and it applies to all of the photos you selected. So you can edit like up to 10 at least photos all at once. It's amazing. It saves so much time. And Snapseed is great if you want that perfect white background for your pin. So if that's something you like in your shop, or if you're using it for any kind of giveaways or promotions, then Snapseed has this great tool called Selective Tool. So if you take your picture of your pin on a white background, you can select that white background and just blow it out so it's a perfect white. And always make sure the edits that you make look consistent and have a similar color palette. Back to what I was saying before about having consistent colors and your general aesthetic. Usually you'll find in a color story some certain filters that you like to use the most, and you can use those to create the same kind of edits so your photos all look very similar. Okay, do you feel like this is all coming together? All right, so step 3 is write engaging captions. You want to be honest with your audience. You want to share your story. So just like with the selfies, people want to know about you. Your caption doesn't even have to match the photo, so don't limit yourself to that. You can put up a picture of a pin and write a whole story about something completely unrelated and then go, P.S., tap the photo or do the link in my profile if you want to buy this pin. And don't be afraid to get chatty, so your audience will love learning about your inspirations and feelings. This is a photo that I did not expect to do well. It was just a picture of my face and 10 random things about me. And you can see it got a ton of likes, and I'll show you how many comments it got in a second. It's kind of crazy. So another huge tip is to always have a call to action or a CTA. So the dreaded algorithm depends on engagement. So give your audience a specific task for every post. So you can ask them specific open-ended questions that they can answer in the comments. You can just be silly and tell them to comment with emojis. There are tons of things you can ask them to do. You can ask them to like the photo, double tap on the photo, leave a comment, answer a question, give feedback, do a poll. You can tell them to click the link in your bio. You can tell them to tap the photo to see more. You can tell them to go to your stories and answer a question. There are tons of things, tons of different actions that someone can take when they're reading through your captions. So you want to be sure to give them a specific task, because the more often they engage, the more often they act on that task or that action, then the more often they'll be able to see your photos because they're engaging with it. And that's what Instagram wants. Instagram wants people interacting with things and staying on the platform as long as possible. So call to action. Like the example I have here, all I wrote was, tell me your favorite kind of donut in the comments. And then it got 40 comments. Like, it's bonkers. People love sharing about themselves. So you'll get to learn about your audience and get the engagement all at the same time. It's pretty great. All right, and another big thing is don't post and ghost. So this means, posting a photo and then logging off the app by see ya, not having any interaction. So you don't have to spend all day on Instagram. Just take a few minutes after you post to engage with those first comments. So this helps immediately boost your post in the algorithm because it's seeing that interaction and that engagement that we just talked about. And your audience will see that you're around and they'll be excited to hear from you. So this post from a couple slides ago that was just 10 random things about me, I got 130 comments. A bunch of those are mine too, because I was writing back and asking questions and engaging more. But that's crazy. People love hearing about you. They love being able to relate to you, and they love talking about themselves too in the context of what you are sharing. So after you post, be sure to stick around and be intentional with that time. So take like 10 minutes, 20 if you can swing it, and post your photo, and then go maybe comment on other people. Check out the hashtags and comment on some folks that you don't even follow, and like photos, and be very intentional with your time, showing your face, showing up for people, showing that you are engaging with their content. And then when people comment, you'll see that come in. You can write back to them. And then once that time is up, however long you've decided to stick around on the app, then you can close your app and then move on to other things, So you're not spending all day scrolling and all day responding, but you're being intentional with that time. Okay, so here is step 4. I have some hashtags and hacks to increase your visibility. All right, so my biggest advice here is being a part of the community. So you want to follow pin hashtags and engage with the posts that you see there so you get your name out there in the community. You want to add tags to your caption or put them in the comments. Either is fine as long as you post them immediately. If you are posting in the comments, you don't want to wait too long. You want to post your photo and then post your comment right away, because then Instagram knows that your post is there and it's been tagged immediately. You don't want to wait. And talk to other makers and be friends. I've met some amazing friends on Instagram who are pin makers and artists and into the same stuff as me. And it's been really, really wonderful growing that community and coming up with some amazing artists. So it's been really fun. Okay, so these are my must-have tags. I always include my shop name, and then you can see this list here: Pin Game Strong, Pins of IG, enamel pins. There's also like Pin Addict and Pin Collector and all kinds of stuff. So these are the ones that I like to use that are pin specific. And then unrelated to pins, I always like to add things like kawaii, because that's kind of the style I use. A color story is one of the apps that I use. And things that have to do with pink or cats. Stuff that goes along with the content of the pin, not necessarily just it being a pin itself. So if you have a cat pin, do cat stuff. If you have a dog pin, hashtag some dog things like that. And here are some quick little things to help get a smidgen more visibility. This is one of my favorite tricks. So you can put tags on stories. So if people are following the Pin Game hashtag, there is a stories feed that goes along with that hashtag. But if you don't want your stories looking super messy and having a ton of hashtags in them, all you have to do is use the text tool, type out all of the hashtags you want to use, make them super tiny, and cover them with a giant GIF. Bam! This is one of my favorite tricks, and I feel like it blows people's mind every time I tell them. So this way your story isn't clogged with a ton of tags, but you're still getting the benefit of having those tags on the story. I love it. You can also do the same with your location. I like using just Austin, Texas, where I'm from. So anyone following that area or that city will see your posts or your stories. So I always add that on my feed as well. Whenever I'm posting a story directly to my feed, you can add the location. So I always add Austin there too. And to find more tags to use, you can just search one of the pin tags that you already use, like hashtag pin game. And if you're using the search function in Instagram, it'll pull up related tags above that post. So it'll be posts that or tags that people use in conjunction with Pin Game, or that people are interacting with the same as they are in Pin Game. So you want to be able to utilize that search function to find more tags that are relevant to you. Okay, are you stoked to get started already? Are you excited? Are you putting tags on your stories right now and covering them with GIFs while you're listening to this? I hope so. Okay, so step 5 is kind of my bonus. It's all about email lists and that they're amazing. So just do it. Just make an email list. They give you a direct line to the customers who really love your work. So these are your super fans, and you can reward them for being so loyal and connect with them personally. There will always be people who unsubscribe, just like unfollows on Instagram, but those people wouldn't have bought your pins anyway, so who cares? I don't want you to be worried about sending emails because people will unsubscribe, because they're not going to buy your stuff, so get out of here. We don't want them anyway. We want to attract and repel. Okay, so what to send in your emails? You can send shop updates and reminders. So relevant info with upcoming shows, new products, restocks, etc. You can do launches, so teasers and sneak peeks and countdowns to big collection releases. This is fun because you can show your email list all of your new stuff before your Instagram feed, which I think is really cool, and it makes them, pretty excited. And sales, site-wide sales that you're having, plus extra sales just for them. Just send them only a weekend sale and they will appreciate it. You want to give them a reason to stay subscribed, and sales is like the number one reason that people subscribe to email lists. And honestly, what would you do if Instagram went away? So Instagram is an incredible tool that we all love, but we don't have control over it. And we've seen that with the algorithm changes and when it goes down randomly. What do you even do when Instagram goes down? But your email list is yours, so you have complete control over it. And don't hesitate to send those emails to people who signed up. They signed up for a reason and they want to hear from you. If they don't want to, they'll unsubscribe and they'll get out of here and it's fine. And then you'll have all your favorite people there anyway. So just to recap, today you learned how to build an organic following on Instagram. You learned that batching your photos can make the most of your time. You saw that putting energy into Instagram can grow your following and sales. I love it. And you learned why email lists are important and profitable. So you're here today because you want to make pins without giving up too much time. You want a simple solution to growing your pin business. And you felt like you've been spinning your wheels and are ready to make a change. This is my favorite shirt, by the way. So now is your time. It's your time to experience a successful pin release. It's your time to stop wasting money on bad manufacturers. Oh, I said it. And it's your time to build your pin business with the guidance of a step-by-step system. So remember, nothing I've shared with you today is theory or ideas. These are all things that I have done to grow from a side hustle to a thriving business. I don't have any advantages or special skills. I don't have any secret tools or access to expensive resources. I just have a system that works. And I promise if I can do this, you can do it too. So let's talk about Enamel Pins 101. So this is your step-by-step guide to making and selling enamel pins. This is not everything that's in the course, by the way. It is so full of resources. So here's the thing. I used to struggle with launching new pins, but now I have a system that gets people excited and ready to buy. I was aimless on social media, but then I developed a system that takes less time and yields higher sales. So what you'll get in this program, you'll get 7 different modules. I'm sharing my personal favorite manufacturers. Yes, I'm sharing my manufacturers. I've got templates and resources and checklists and video and audio training and an exclusive course Facebook community. So by the end of our time together, you will have an open shop. You'll have a strategy to grow your audience. You'll have pin designs ready to sell. You'll finally have a trusted manufacturer, and you'll leave with the confidence to grow your business. So here's kind of a breakdown of what I've got in the different modules. So I'm talking about business setup basics, organizing finances, and tax resources. The boring stuff that I get the most questions about because it is vital to know this when you're starting a business. We'll talk about getting your sketches into Illustrator, vectoring your designs, templates for your manufacturers. I've even got a walkthrough on Illustrator of how I vector my pins. I share my favorite manufacturers. I'll talk about working with middle people and strategies for what happens when you get seconds and how to sell seconds pins. I'm also talking about my favorite selling platforms and packaging basics and shipping options. I get a ton of questions about shipping options, so I'm breaking it down in here. So join us now. You can enroll today for just $99 and then 4 payments of $99 to follow, or you could pay in full for $347 and save $148. So use the button below to enroll. Do it. So the final step is once you click that button to enroll, you get to the secure checkout and you can use either PayPal or your credit card, whatever's easiest for you. And then you'll get immediate access to the members only area. So this is what it looks like. You can see the welcome module and all 6 modules. It's super easy, actionable stuff. It's incredible. I put all of my knowledge into this course. And you'll be able to log into our community full of your friendly new peers. This group is incredible. We share all our problems, questions. Everyone is nice and welcoming and helpful. I've been blown away by the community of pin makers in this course. So join us now. Enroll now for just $99 and then 4 easy monthly payments of $99 to follow, or pay in full and save $148. So I know you might have some questions. Ooh, I don't know where to start. Okay, I started with one pin and less than 10 hours a week to work on my shop. If I can do it, you can do it. This was my first pin. This was the sweet baby that started everything for me. Oh, I don't have Illustrator. Can I still join? Yes. There are Food Vector programs that work too. My favorite manufacturers and middle people offer services to help with that as well, so don't let the tech hold you back. And I'm not really sure I can do this. Okay, why not? If you have an idea and you're willing to put in the work, you absolutely can. I promise there's nothing special about me except that I worked hard and figured out the steps that grew my business. So join us today. Get immediate access when you enroll. Use the button below to enroll, and I am excited to see you in the course. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope this webinar helped you and you're excited to grow your following with Instagram, and I really hope to see you in the course.